now we have seen a general outline of the game. Let me just give you a very quick summary of what has happened till now. See, these are the list of movies. We have collected this from IMDb top rated Indian movies. When we come to the actual game, when we come to the actual playing part, the first thing we do is we are getting the names of the players. This is just to give a personalized feel to the players. And we start off with 0 points to both the players, and we have a variable. We started off with 0 points to both the players, as you could see here, and we have a variable turn that is used to keep track of whose turn it is. That is, the turns has to be alternated. The players will have to get their turns in an alternating sequence. For that reason, we have a variable turn, and we have another variable called willing that says whether the players want to continue the game or they want to quit the game. So this particular thing, willing, initially I have set it to true because we want to start the game, and during the run of the game the players may choose to quit at any time, and it is a two-player game, so it requires both the players to be present in the game. In case if anyone says I want to quit, I don't want to continue next, the game totally comes to an end, and the status till now will be displayed at the end of the game. So this is how the game goes, and this is we had started the value of turn from 0. This is just a convention in computer science to start counting from 0. Nothing hard and fast. You can do anything as you wish. I had started from 0, so the turns 0, 2, 4, 6, that is the even numbered turns correspond to player 1, that is being captured by this modulo operator, and the odd numbered turns will correspond to player 2. We had given an outline of the game in player 1, so we had started off with this. See, when it is the turn, we have to display that this is this person's turn, so I had given a message, player 1, this is your turn, so something like that I had given a message. We randomly pick a movie from the list of movies we have and create a question out of it. Creating a question is nothing but we would have blanks in the conventional game. Here I am encoding the blanks with stars, that is, in case the movie has 5 letters in its name, then 5 stars will be displayed in place of the letters. And please note that in case if there are spaces, for example, if you would see Tare Zameen Par or Vikram Veda, these movies have spaces in their names. So in case if there are spaces, the spaces would be left as such, only the letters will be encoded as stars. So in case if I take Tare Zameen Par, 5 stars followed by a space, followed by 6 stars, followed by a space, followed by 3 stars. This is how we need to encode it. This encoding process, let me call it as we are creating the question. So we create the question, we take the question and print the question. We show the question to the player. And we have a variable to keep track of whether the player has said some answer or not. So initially he hasn't said the answer, so I said not said is true. So as long as he says the answer, repeat this. What we do is we ask him to guess a letter that could be present in the movie, and if that letter is present, we need to unlock those spaces, those stars where that letter is present. Otherwise we have to say the letter is not found. For example, see, if Tare Zameen Par is the movie that has been picked, and if the user wants to know if the letter U is present in the movie name, you could see the letter U is not present here, so I would say U not found. In case if he types letter A is present twice here, once here, once here. So in all these corresponding places, I will unlock, I will say this is A. After unlocking, it becomes star AA, star star, star A, star 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 star, star A star, and spaces would be just spaces. There is no encoding. Nothing but in the previous encoding where all letters are made stars, we would unlock only those places where the letter A is present. This unlocking part has to be done. Otherwise, we will just display the message that this particular letter is not found. Okay, now let us look at the unlocking part. So let me say, after unlocking those letters, we get a modified question. So I will say this is modified question. Let me call this as modified question. To get the modified question, what should I do? I should unlock. All that I need is the previous question or the question that comes during this run, because as you could see, with A unlocked, the user may either guess the movie name, or maybe he could require more guesses. Like maybe he want to say I want to unlock more letters. Maybe he wants to unlock if letter I is present, if letter E is present. He may try for various possibilities. So it is not always the case that with just one letter unlocked the user can guess the movie name. So it may happen anything. So I should take the modified question from the previous run. Modified question from the previous run, and the picked movie name I need to have a reference, because I need to unlock his choice of letter if it is present. If that letter is present, I need to unlock it. So for unlocking it, I need to refer to the picked movie name originally, and this is his character preference I need to pass. So I need to unlock unlock those letters using these parameters. I need to have an unlock functionality which requires these parameters. So the modified question here and here, the difference is this is the question modified based on the previous run. Say I'll give you an example. Just take the same thing. Tare Zameen Par. If this is the movie, if the user wants to unlock A, these will be unlocked, and now the new question will be star AA star star space star A star 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 space star A star. This will be the new question. This has to be passed, and suppose during the second guess the letter he wants to unlock is E, then that CH will carry the value of E, and to unlock E, where all E has been present in the movie, you need to refer to it. So I am passing the picked movie as well. I need this value as well. So this is the modified question based on the previous run. So what will be this particular thing in the first run? So for that, let me store here modified question is nothing but your question itself in the first run. In the first run, it is all stars. During the subsequent runs, the modified question may vary, depends on what are the letters you have already unlocked. Okay, so you have modified it. So modified question is obtained to you. So let me now print the modified question. I have to print the modified question. Okay, I print it. The modified question. So I'm done printing it. Now I should say the user has to decide now if he wants to continue, if he wants to guess the movie name with this, or he wants to unlock another character. So let me say this is decision. So D, let me call it D. I will take his decision as a form of an input. I can give him a message. See, press 1 to guess the movie, or 2 to unlock another character, another letter, I could say. So this is once the unlocked, the modified question has been displayed after unlocking a particular letter, he has to decide whether he knows the movie name, he wants to guess it right away, or he wants to unlock another letter. So this particular decision is taken care of here. So once the decision has been taken, in case he wants to say I want to guess the movie name, if that is we had given, if one is for guessing the movie name, if his decision is 1. Then you have to collect an answer from him. Answer, you have to input it from him. Let me give a colon here for clarity's sake. Let me say, here it is. Okay. I need to give a message. Let me say, your answer. I'm asking him to give his answer. So for this, he'll give an input answer. We need to check if that answer is exactly the same as the picked movie name. So I am checking if answer is exactly equal to picked movie. Okay. In case if that is equal, then I would say increase his points by 1. So already his new points for player 1 is nothing but his old points plus 1. This is his new point. So I have increased his point by 1. So I have to let him know that his answer is correct. I have to print that his answer is correct, and I will have to make this not set. I have used a variable not set based on which the game will continue. I have to make it false because initially he has not set the answer, so I had made it true. Now given that he has set the answer, not set should become false. Quite intuitive names I had used so that it is easier to understand the code. This is generally a better practice to name your variables such that it is easy for anyone to understand the code. The code is not just for you. Even if you go work in a collaborative environment in a company or anything, when you work in teams, it may be the case that you would be the one who codes and there may be someone who tests your code, because it's generally the thing is we tend to cover our mistakes. That is the human tendency. We tend to cover our mistakes. So the person who has written the code, if he is given an opportunity to check whether the code is perfect or not, he knows what are the mistakes could occur during the coding process. He would have tested and he would have got some mistakes. He would try to hide that mistake, so the actual quality could not be known to the seniors. So in order to get the actual quality, what they generally do is they would ask another person. There would be another person called the tester. He would be the one who is assigned the responsibility of testing the code. So for him to test the code, for him to give inputs such that you can check through how the flow is, what are all the calculations being done, to check through all that, the code must be highly readable. And when you work in teams, when your particular portion is being used by someone else or someone else's portion you are using and you are depending on it, it is highly important that your code is properly readable. And to make it readable, one tip that we generally give is you give your variable names in an intuitive manner. See, just as how I have given question, modified question, picked movie, not set, all these are English words that speaks in itself. You need not say for what purpose you have been using this particular variable name. That is quite intuitive. People can easily understand. Just anyone who knows English will be able to understand the flow of this program. In such a way, your coding has to be done. This is a general tip that people used to give when working in teams. So this is a take-home message you need to take here. Alright, let's get back. Not set. Initially, the person has not set the answer, so it was made true. And now, given that he has set the answer, not set should be made false. Not set should be made false. And now I should print him his score. Person's name, player 1's name. I have to print him his score. Your score. Okay, let me say this is points of player 1. So how much has he scored? I should let him know. So this is done. So till now what has happened? We had unlocked the character, we had modified the question, and for modifying the question, we take the modified question from the previous run. In the very first run, the modified question is nothing but the question itself with all letters encoded as stars and spaces left as such. This is the modified question at the first run, and subsequent runs, the modified question will be based on what are the letters you had unlocked in the previous runs. So that is why we are using the modified question in both the places. This is a place where generally the beginners would feel it difficult to understand. Please pause here, try to give it a thought, try to take your sheet of paper, you try running it. As I had said an example, take maybe this particular name or Black Friday or Vikram Veda, something like that, with spaces, as well as the name is also lengthier. If you would take something like that, you would get an idea of what all could be the case. Maybe the user wants to guess one character, he is not able to guess the movie just with one character, and because of which in the subsequent run what should be the expected modified question, you just dry run once, you pause over here, think, understand this fully, then let's proceed to it. So I would recommend that you understand up to here completely. So please give a pause here, understand completely, and once you are completely thorough, please proceed to the next part. Alright, I hope you would have paused and understood the flow till here. Let's continue, and each player must be given a chance whether he wants to continue the game or quit. So that we'll have to ask here. We'll say we are asking this, along this it has to come. So after he has said the answer, so this loop runs till he gives the answer. After he has said the answer, you have to ask him. So this comes under column 13. So okay, column 13, I should go to column 13. I should ask whether he wants to continue. So for continue, let me use C. This is for continuing. I am inputting his decision, his choice, whether he wants to continue or quit the game. So let me say press 1 to continue or 0 to quit. Let me say this, and I would see if 0 is for quit. So if his choice is 0, if his choice to continue or not, if it is 0, then I should give him a summary. So let me say, I have to say print player 1, his score you have to print. So let me print his name first, player 1 name, your score. Okay, I have to print his score. It is points of player 1. Sorry, points of player 1. This is his score. Now I need to do the same for player 2. Let me copy paste the same, because it's the same, just that in place of player 1 I am going to use player 2. I'll paste it, and I'll have to change here. See, it's player 2's name, and even here I have to change it. It is points of player 2. And now just a nice greeting message would make it more personalized. So let me have a greeting message here. Thanks for playing. Have a nice day. Thanks for playing. This is up to you. You can give any number of messages as you wish. This is just to give a personalized feeling to the players. That's it. I'll say have a nice day. Have a nice day. So this is we have greeted, and now they are not willing to continue. So this particular thing, this value we had set willing as true, that should be set as false. Willing should be set as false. I'll make it as false. This is he is not willing to continue. That is the meaning here. Alright. So let us have a very quick summary of what has happened till now. We have the list of movies taken from IMDb, the top rated movies from IMDb. We have inputted the players' names, initialized both their points with 0, have a variable to keep track of turn, that is whose turn it is, it's player 1 or player 2. Every even turn is of player 1 and every odd turn is of player 2, which is taken care of by the modulo operator. And this particular variable willing is to take care of whether the player wants to continue the game or he wants to quit it. And when the player is willing and it is his turn, you say this is his turn. You pick a random movie, create a question, that is encode all the characters with stars and spaces are left as spaces only. This is how the encoding has to be done. You create a question, print the question, and then this will be the modified question for the first run. That will be clear when we see this particular part. And we have a variable to keep track of whether the user has said the answer or not said the answer, whether the player has said or not said the answer. So initially he has not said the answer, so not said is true. So as long as he did not say the answer, continue it. You ask him to guess for a character. If that character is present, you have to unlock the character, else you say the character is not found. That letter is present or not present. Based on that, you take a decision. You say you have to unlock the letter, or you say that letter is not found. And in unlocking process, what you do is you take the modified version in the previous run. In the first run, it would be all letters encoded with stars. You refer to the actual movie name and unlock all those places where this particular character has been present. You unlock it and that becomes your modified question. Print the modified question, and once the modified question has been printed, the user has two options. He can guess the movie directly or he wants to unlock another letter. So in case he wants to guess the movie, you say this is the you ask him to answer. If that is the picked movie, say that it is correct, and you increase his points by 1 and you output him his score. And since he has said the answer, this particular value of not said should be made as false. And yeah, here there is a missing case, as you could see. In case he wants to guess the movie name, what if it is wrong? It is not the correct answer. What should we do? That has to be handled. So let's say else, that comes under else part. That is his answer. This is in column 25 and this is also in column 25. See, indentation is important in Python, that's why we were checking it. See, the column 29, yeah, column 29. So in case if his guess is wrong, he wants to say that this is the movie name. For example, if you could take, for example, you can take these two, Drishyam and Nayakan. These two are having same 7 letters. So based on 7 letters, he would have unlocked some character, and he suppose has a feeling. So for example, the letter Y is common in both the things. Suppose he has unlocked the letter Y, he may feel that he could have answered something, but what if that is not the correct answer? So we need to inform him that it is not a correct answer, so please try again. Try unlocking some more characters and try finding the movie. So that part has to be taken care of. So let us print a message for that. Print, let me say, wrong answer. try again. Sorry, this should not be try again. Okay, so I had said that it's a wrong answer. I'm just asking him to try again. So okay, so this part is taken care of here now. All right, and in case the letter is not found, we say letter is not found. And once after he has said the movie name correctly, you will intimate him that his movie is correct and increase his points, intimate his new score, and set this particular value of not set to false, because this is the variable we use to keep track whether the person has set the value or not, as he said the answer or not. As long as he has not set the correct answer, this particular value will remain true, and once he has set the answer, this not set must become false. You make it false, and so once not set becomes false, the loop comes to an end. So the game, this particular turn is over. So once it is over, you just ask him if he wants to continue or quit. In case he wants to continue, let him continue with the next thing. In case he wants to quit, you have to say this is the summary of the game till now. You have to display his scores and give some nice greeting message and set this particular value of willing to false, based on which we are tracking whether the person wants to continue his game or he wants to quit the game. So this particular thing you have to set it to false. So this is how the game goes. This is for player 1. Now let's see, the same thing will be there for player 2 as well. So let me just simply copy paste it, but please make sure that the indentation is proper. Let me copy and I'm pasting it here. Please make sure that the indentation is completely proper. Yeah, it's correct. It's in this format. Either these two are in the same column 21. No, this corresponds to this. Yeah, column 17, and this corresponds to column 17. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So yeah, we need not increment. We have to increment the value of the turn. Why? Because after this turn, it must be the turn of the next player. In case he says he's not willing, if someone says I'm not willing, the game comes to an end there itself. Even if they are telling I want to continue, then the value of turn will be incremented, based on which the next player will get a turn. See, if you would see, every value of turn, if it is even number, it is a turn of player 1. For odd number, it is a turn of player 2. We need to alternate the turns. That's why we are increasing the turn value by 1. So initially you will get an even number, then an odd number, then an even number, then an odd number. That is player 1, then player 2, then player 1, then player 2, and so on. This is how the turns are being alternated. Alright, so this is the outline of the game. If you would see, this is the outline of the game. So maybe you can pause here and just see what all has happened, how is the flow of the game going on. And there are something which has been not oh yeah, here is a syntax error. Okay, let me rectify it. I need to use the brackets. It's a syntax error. I print the question. Okay, and yeah, the same, since given that I have copy pasted, the same error would have occurred. So I am correcting this. Here I would say there are some warnings occurring here. These names are undefined. So let us define all these things in the next part of the video. Maybe you can pause this, pause it here. You can take a look at the flow of the game. You try to understand how it goes, and then in the next video everything will be clear once we have defined these undefined terminologies as well.